about the ground, the basis of all thoughts, which is silence. The mind needs to learn that you are free from thoughts, that the thoughts are you, are not you. That you're not the thoughts, but the thoughts are you. Because even in a thought, when you say Om, you are there present as a content of the thought. You are the basis of it. And then when there is no thought, you're still present as silence. And when a thought comes, then silence is a content of it. Because it's like music. I don't know, I'm not a musician, okay? You guys know more about music than I, because in your culture, I'm sure you take it. You take a note. All notes happen in silence. And the way music can happen is because of silence. You create silent experience, isn't it? Can you say that? A note breaks silence. And one note is distinguished from another note by silence. And its silence allows do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, fa. So there's a silence, do. It's a silence that it rises from silence. It's like a wave. Alright, now in a different re. Where do we come from? Silence. Well, silence, so, and then he goes back, me is silence that distinguishes each note, and they all have different sounds, but they all come from silence. And silence doesn't have a note. Silence is not a note.
Yeah.
But the note has silence.
Yeah.
Even between the notes,
that's right.
Like quarter notes or half note, there is a distinct thing. Quarter notes you count 1, 2, 3, 4, done.
That's right.
Done, 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Half note is done, 1, 2. Specific thing, there is a certain silence between the notes.
Yes.
That's what it is.
So, this self, Atma Chaitanya, the truth, which is consciousness of myself, is that silence upon which everything manifests, upon which everything falls back. Look, listen please, watch this please. Here we have 5, 6, 7 individuals, and we're like notes. Isn't it? Do, do, re, mi, fa, fa, si, si, la, la. But they all are abiding in silence. They exist in silence, and they go back into silence. As a matter of fact, if the notes go away, silence remains. Notes are incidental, please. Is that true? You take a flute, it's what? Wind going through a hole, okay, that based upon the size and the position of the hole, is all what? Breath. And that breath is breaking silence, but silence is not broken. It is within the realm of silence that the notes come out. So now look at this please. Every individual, that is why I love to see Lord Krishna's, when they depict Krishna as a flute player. The spirit, which is the breath, is nothing but the music of Lord Krishna. And then these notes have taken themselves to be separate. And he's playing the whole flute. It is this consciousness, Lord Krishna represents this Chaitanya, that playing through this body, all these holes coming out. But it's all His presence. It is His grace that we make this noise. So the Chaitanya, the instruments, and what the instruments do and everything else, are nothing else but this silence, which is Krishna. Krishna could be Christ, He could be anything, you call it whatever you want. This divine presence that makes this person think, feel. And then, you know what? This guy is incidental, then what am I? I am that which is the source from everything comes. And there is no difference between Krishna and myself, or Jesus and myself, or the Lord, because I am that Chaitanya, that consciousness. So that needs to be understood. Then you can play anything you want, but then not be trapped by the mistake. How do you call this? Imputing
association.
Upon the self that he is a note. And if it is a bad note, then I'm a bad note. And nothing to do with me. I made the note because of me. The note is, it came from me, it abides in me, and goes back into me. So nobody is condemned. Okay, from the standpoint of the self. Very good. So, Atma is, you want to continue reading?
Yeah. Atma is not the karta. Atma does not perform any action. Only the gunas perform action. Action does not come from the Atma. It emanates from the gunas, from the karya karan, from the physical body, mind and sense alone.
Okay, what does the word emanates mean? Emanates. To emanate.
To emanate.
It comes from within or originates from the...
That's right. Like the note comes out of the breath. Is that right? The silence emanates. It's like the wave emanates from the H2O, the water. So anyway, he says, so then, if the sense of doership is not there for the wise person. He knows that the self is not karta, not a doer. Why? Because Atma does not perform any action. So what performs the actions?
Only the gunas.
Gunas. And what are these gunas?
Body, mind.
Senses, mind and
Sense.
organs of
That's
action.
right. With their own qualities.
Right.
The guna of the body is different from the guna of the mind. The guna of the mind is different from the guna of the senses. Gunas, they're qualities. They're just qualities. But they have not, you are the wielder of those qualities. Wielder again meaning the one that directs and makes those qualities function. Therefore he says, so action then does not come from Atma,
Yeah.
from the self. It emanates from the gunas, in other words, the action comes from the gunas. And, from the karya karana, from the physical body, mind and senses alone. Not from the self. The self does not perform any action. Just like the silver is not ringing. I know when it says ringing, it sounds like ding, 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 ding. Ringing means being a ring. All right? All right. You want to continue reading?
Any fancy or desire is a modification of the mind, but you may not go along with the desire or fancy. Many desires rise and fall simply because we do not bother about them. This happens because of the particular function of the mind that enables me to decide whether to go along with the desire or not. In such a decision, there are various considerations. Pragmatic and ethical consideration among others. Is this necessary for me? Is a pragmatic consideration undertaken by the Atma in the form of buddhi. With the organs of action or the sense organs you perform karma. Whatever you do, eat, walk or engage yourself in any kind of pursuit, some sense organ is involved. The truth of this karma, however, is that Atma is not directly involved in the activity. Atma is not a desire or a decision, nor does it desire or make decisions. Desires and decisions are always in the form of vrittis, modification of the mind. These vrittis are Atma, no doubt, but Atma is none of them. Thus all karma emanates from modification of the mind, vrittis, and does not come from the Atma.
All right. What do we understand from this, Sunny?
Atma is not the doer.
Hmm. See, there's a choice. And there could be pragmatic choices, he says, and what else? There's a choice. You can when something comes up, it's nothing but a modification of the mind. Now look, let's just look at this. So we're sitting here, and we're having a Vedanta class. Now this is a condition, a situation that presents the possibility of a choice. Now, and the choice, is what will be the choice? To participate or not to participate. The choice is to be here or not to be here. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And now, what are you going to base that choice on? It's on certain, let's say, values and certain things. It says, well, he could be pragmatic.
Yeah, or ethical.
What is the other one? Or ethical?
Ethical.
Let's suppose, for example, pragmatically speaking, you don't want to be here, okay? It doesn't do me any good to be here. But then you came, okay? So you make it ethical, so you're not going to disrupt. Ethical. The choice is, I'm not going to disrupt. Why? Because even though I don't like what's going on, even though I wish it finished sooner, you see, I'm going to be, what? Civil. So they're choices. Okay, he says, any fancy or desire is a modification of the mind. But you may not go along with the desire or fancy. He says, many desires rise and fall simply because we do not bother about them.
Yeah.
Okay? This happens because of a particular function of the mind that enables me to decide whether to go along with the desire or not. See, those are the choices. There's a possibility. Now, the choice is made by what?
Buddhi.
By the buddhi. That's correct. And then, what does the buddhi mean? Intellect. So, what does the buddhi base its choice? Now, upon what does the buddhi make his choice? What basis does he use? What criteria does he use? And then he says the criteria could be either pragmatic or ethical. So the buddhi is the one that has all this information. Okay? And so it's based on, again, the buddhi could be a buddhi that was trained to be nasty. Nasty is cool. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. There is such buddhis. Nasty is cool. You're crossing the street, and when you're crossing the street, there's cars waiting, and then I say, well, you don't want to make it wait, so the Buddhist says, okay, go quick, so they can let it go. And that is nice, that is ethical. You go, or you can say, you know what, let them wait. And you go very slowly, and you look at your fingernails, nasty is cool. So it depends, you experience that in the streets. So this is based, now, but let's suppose, for example, even though I know nasty is cool, but my girlfriend is waiting down the street, now it's pragmatic for me to hurry up and make a choice. So this is all in the buddhi. Now, and what is that buddhi has is information that is based upon the situation and the circumstances. And it's okay, that's the way it's supposed to be, okay? Like that. And they're all thought modifications, please. They're all thought modifications. Then he says, this happens because of a particular function of the mind that enables me to desire whether to go along with desire or not. It is a decision. In such a decision, there are various considerations. And this is pragmatic and ethical. Now, and the question is this necessary for me? That is a pragmatic consideration undertaken by the Atma, and now the Atma in the form of the buddhi. In other words, here the Atma, the self, okay, watch this. Look at this, please, this is interesting.